Simply Southern is produced by the Alabama Farmers Federation and made possible with the support of Alabama Farmers Cooperative.
There's no such thing as downtime when you own a farm. This is your land. You tend it and try to get the most from it, no matter the weather or time of day. It's been that way for generations. And for generations, your local quality co-op store has been there for you, with a full range of agriculture supplies and services, from feed to fertilizer, seed to grain storage, and the right hardware for any application. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
What we eat, what we wear. It all starts somewhere. And if it's good, it usually starts with a farmer. And that somewhere is right here in Alabama. In a field, in a barn, on a tractor. Right now, there's a farmer starting something good for all of us. And it all starts right here in Alabama.
Hello and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Mary Wilson.
And I'm Kevin Worthington. It's not always easy to eat right, especially if you're in college. But the folks at Auburn University are growing fresh vegetables and fish right on campus that students can enjoy in the dining halls.
Counting sheep has new meaning. A unique program is helping aspiring young farmers have a better chance at success by adding sheep to their flocks at no charge. It works by paying it forward.
There's an old saying that real men don't eat quiche. Well, Kevin says, yes, we do. Especially if it's the one Stacy Little of SouthernBite.com is preparing for us today.
But first, we all know farming can be dangerous.
Absolutely. Every day, farmers work around powerful machinery. And when you're doing a typical farm task, it can be easy to let your guard down for just a moment.
That's all it took for Carl Luas's life to change. For our first story, we head to Marion County, Alabama, and the town of Hamilton. The view from the combine is a familiar sight to 74-year-old farmer Carl Luas. But on November 26, 2019, Carl didn't know if he'd ever get to see this view again.
They said it was amazing how much blood I'd lost and still knowed anything.
It was a simple, everyday task. Carl was helping friends bag corn on his farm with an auger hooked up to a tractor. Carl made one tiny mistake. He reached over the spinning PTO shaft on the auger.
It just grabbed my shirt and pulled me in it. I don't know how many times I went around it, and it threw me off. It was just an accident. I'd been around that drive shaft loading beans and unloading beans out yonder for 15 years.
In seconds, Carl sustained a litany of injuries, including losing his left arm. It took quick thinking and action by Carl's friends, brothers Johnny and Danny Ray, and 17-year-old farm worker Derek Palmer, to save Carl's life.
That was my first experience of something like that, and it kind of got my heart out of rhythm a little bit. But anyway, I stayed calm as I could.
Thankfully, the farm was close to town, and first responders from Hamilton Fire and Rescue were on the scene in moments.
It was a pretty traumatic call that we responded to that day. Mr. Ray is the one that saved Mr. Lucas's life that day. You know, if he wasn't there, I think the outcome would have been very different. But because he was there in his military training, definitely saved Mr. Lucas's life that day.
Miraculously, the accident happened about a mile from a landing strip. Within 18 minutes, Carl was in a helicopter on his way to UAB Hospital. His injuries were numerous: an amputated arm, severed artery behind his left knee, broken tibia, fibula, and right ankle, fractured vertebra and ribs, and a blood clot in his neck.
The doctor told him up there, said he won't live to daylight.
But he did live to see November 27, 2019. After 11 surgeries, Carl and his loved ones celebrated a lot of firsts. His first cup of coffee, his first steps, his first time wearing overalls, and his first day back working at the farm. In 2020, he helped his family plant and harvest over 400 acres of soybeans.
We knew he was going to come back and do. We just didn't know how much he was going to be able to do. But he won't quit. I mean, he's cut hay. He's been in the combine. It just takes him an effort to get up in something, and but he's adjusted. He's adjusted mighty good.
I'm just glad to get back on the tractor. I told him that's better than therapy, being on that tractor. But I'd still get around, though. That's all the Lord done there, where I could get around, show people about this. They say it's amazing. They say, yeah. So I don't know. It's the good Lord done it, and not me.
Mr. Carl Luas is one tough fella, and we just want to say thank you to him and his family for allowing us to share his story.
And it's always good to be reminded of the importance of farm safety. Always take your time, don't be in a rush, and never reach or jump over a running PTO shaft on an auger.
And make sure you either have someone with you or someone who knows where you are when you're working with heavy machinery or in grain bins. Now, coming up next on Simply Southern, we'll meet an impressive Alabama teen who's already making her mark in agriculture thanks to her own hard work and the help of a starter flock program.
Flooding can happen anytime, anywhere, with little or no warning. Be sure you and your family have a flood plan in place, including knowing what to take with you and where you will go if an evacuation is ordered. Remember, most homeowners insurance policies do not cover flooding, but you can purchase a separate flood insurance policy. Visit alphainsurance.com for more tips on protecting your home and family from a flood disaster. These Alpha Insights are proudly presented by Alpha Insurance.
Wear long pants, long sleeve shirts, and closed-toed shoes. Don't be ticked. Use repellents with 20% DEET on skin and 0.5% permethrin on gear and clothing. Don't be ticked. Avoid sitting on rotten logs or stumps. Don't be ticked. Protect yourself from serious tick-borne illnesses and seek timely treatment to prevent long-term problems. No hunters were angered in the making of this film.
Soybeans is a very versatile product. We make crayons out of it.
A lot of the combines you see rolling through the fields have a lot of plastic side panels that are made from a soy product.
The soybeans that we grow on our farm mostly goes into chicken feed.
Soybean production in Alabama employs over 10,000 people.
We grow some of the best soybeans in the world.
We go the extra mile to make sure when our name is stamped on it, we know it's the best product we can produce.
You won't find many things more sacred than family recipes. It's part of our history, described as a pinch of this or a dash of that. Well, I come from a long line of folks who fry chicken by feel and make biscuits from memory, showing how much they love you with grease and flour. Well, Alpha cares like that too, making sure your insurance recipe is just right.
Sean! Get a quote or find a local agent at alphainsurance.com.
That's good.
Boats of all shapes and sizes visit Alabama's port city of Mobile every year, but none quite like this. The USS Alabama is one of only 2 surviving South Dakota-class battleships in America and one of the top tourist attractions in the state. Commissioned in 1942, the 680-foot, 45,000-ton warship protected Allied forces in the North Atlantic in the early years of World War II and would later earn 9 battle stars in action during the Pacific Campaign. After the war, the Mighty A was saved from the scrapyards by a statewide fundraising campaign, taking up permanent residence just off the causeway in 1965. Battleship Memorial Park is also home to World War II submarine the USS Drum and a wide variety of tanks, aircraft, and wartime memorials. You could spend an hour or a day taking it all in, making for an ideal Alabama sidetrack.